I remember reading books and stuff, and Tim Ferriss, was it 10-minute work week or something like that, like a 10-hour work week. Yeah. I was reading that book and thinking like, this is BS. Like, you know what I mean? That's snake oil salesman. Like he was like, can you leave your business and go on a 30-day sabbatical and come back and have a business? I'm like, of course I can't.
Yeah.
Who could? And now realizing that the only reason I didn't have those things is because I didn't have the skill set necessary to build something like that. And I've hired perspective, and I've hired experience, and I've collapsed time for myself. And now we're in a position where like, I don't have to show up. Yeah. I do because I love it. Like, I'm addicted to it. Like, this is the greatest part of my day. You know, like, but I don't have to be there. We have a team that runs, and this business does not run me. And it wasn't always that way. There was a lot of times where it was running me. We're working 20 hours a day, and every time there's something going wrong, me or Ross are the guys out there. And we've shared the story before, like when we first got going, we were so excited because we had so many sales, and then we started executing and building, and we were out there, and me and him were on Christmas Eve, or maybe Christmas Eve, one of the two. And we're standing on a job site, and we're literally waist deep in a hole trying to find a connection to a sewer pipe because we're building on a lot where a home had burnt down, and it was just a nightmare. And so we're out there, literally just and it was rain, it was just mud, and it's cold.
Just hoping the OSHA guy doesn't show up.
Our wives are pissed because it's Christmas Eve or Christmas Eve, and it's dark. Like, it's dark. I remember we had the headlights on the trucks, and we're down in there doing this stuff, and the phone rings, and cows had gotten into a barn and ate all the insulation out of this barn. And to make matters worse, like, not only did they do that, they've defecated all over these people's property. These people are losing their minds. And then the farmer whose cows they were, they've ingested insulation, and now 2 of them are laying on the side of the road dead. The rest of them are missing. And we're like, what do we do? And I can remember at that point in time, it was like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And now it's to a point to where like that burden is so evenly balanced. I still think director of construction probably has an unfair shake in the weight of things that happen, but Nick does a great job with it. But to be in a position now where like my business does not run me, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think people that come to me and have the ego piece of it, it's not a skills problem. When you hire me, it's not a skills problem. Everybody in the organization, like, you'll figure it out. TJ will figure it out. Anybody in the organization, anybody that starts a business, you can, what I do, there's no secret. You can go out and you can figure it out on your own. What you get with me is you get time. You're buying time with me because I'm going to accelerate what you're going to do in 10 years, and we're going to do that in a year or two. And you're going to look back and be like, dude, I didn't even think that was possible to even do in 10 years. And now we did it in 1. Like, I have companies that look at me and say like, dude, I didn't think that was possible to do in my lifetime. And it's like, we did that in a couple years. And it's like, yeah, man, you just buy time with me. There's no special sauce. Everything has been talked about in business. I mean, everybody's heard right people, right seat. Everybody's heard culture. Everybody's heard purpose. Everybody's heard all of these things. But you buy time when you get a coach that says like, hey man, like, let's be really pointed. I'm going to push you along the way, and we're going to build this thing faster than you ever have. And it's going to reap what's sown faster than you ever thought.
It's also discipline.
Yeah.
You're hiring someone to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
Because when you run it, sometimes there's not a lot of accountability. And when things fall on your plate to be done, and you're spinning every plate in every department in your company, the things that need to be done get pushed to the back burner, to the back burner, to the back burner. Now you have someone who you've invested in that's holding you accountable to deal with this. And then you just start executing. I've said this a million times to Ross. It's like, it was nothing that we could have never done, but we had someone holding us accountable to do the things that we would have never done.
Yep.
And that again, it collapses time. Like we are living in, like, we turned 3 last week.
It's crazy when you say that, because I know what you've achieved. I'm just like, it's insane to me.
Yeah, and I tell it, like, in the beginning, I told everybody, it's like we were riding a booking Bronco, and they were like, well, what's year 2 like? I'm like, same story, just bigger bull. And then it slowly has turned into something where it's like, hey, there is a little bit of a layer of management to this chaos. There's no lack of chaos.
Yeah.
There's no lack of it. If anything, it's amplified. But with systems, processes, people, and things in play, it's more manageable.
Yeah.
And so, it's just, it's one of those things. And I mean, I don't want people to sit here and feel like I'm just shoving coaching down your throat.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. If you ain't doing it, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah.
And, I've never worked personally with you, but I mean, in the circles that you're in, there's no, like, I know what the results will be. Like, you don't end up being inside of some of these circles unless you can execute.